Our guest this hour, trial attorney and host of Once Upon a Crime in Hollywood podcast, Kelly Hyman. Kelly, of course, thank you for being here with me in person. We were just discussing this testimony and the way the mother started by going through the cards that she had received from her daughter, Melissa, the one who was murdered. What's the purpose of this, in your opinion, for the jury?
To give it a timeline, so kind of start from a certain point and then kind of walk the jury through exactly what happened. But I think it's really important about these cards. It really humanizes her daughter of sending the cards. And it's also important to note, when you see who signed the card, it was signed by her daughter and the two children. The husband wasn't listed on there to meet up for a celebration, which I thought was really interesting. But it makes the jury care about this woman that was killed and brutally murdered, and really makes someone think what exactly happened to her and care.
Because it really also establishes in the timeline that Melissa disappeared. There's no question. The mother says, I always got these cards, here they are, and then they stopped. And I knew something was amiss, and then I had to spend $19.99 convincing other people that something had happened to Melissa. She wouldn't just disappear. And she did that, and here we are at trial more than 25 years later. So the other part of this is, you know, the defense is expected to argue, and mentioned in opening statements somebody else did it, including her father, the convicted serial killer. Now, he did not go to jail until 2003. We know that Melissa's body remains were found beginning in April of 1999, so he wasn't in jail at the time. Do you think that this mother would have made such efforts to locate Melissa if she had any reason to believe that her own husband, the father of the now we know murdered victim, had done it?
It can go both ways, and here's why. It's really important to know what exactly she knew, as you point out, at that time. And so the one standpoint is obviously not. Of course, if she would have known this, she wouldn't have acted the way that she did. But then the counter argument is, but why did she wait a year? Did she have some kind of suspicion? Did she have some kind of idea? That question we'll probably never know the answer to.
Yeah, and I feel like all the family members, you're heartbroken for them. They believe in their passion, they believe in this case, and they absolutely, at least on direct, are very credible, don't you think?
They come across as very compelling. Ultimately, it's going to be up to the jury, but I think that that's really important. Are they, in fact, believable? Do the jury believe them? Do they believe the story that they're coming? And the mother is coming off as very credible, just kind of telling the story, talking about the cards. That really humanizes Melissa. It tells a compelling story.
I agree with you. I think she's very believable and is just being honest with all of her testimony. Up next, we will have more testimony from the victim's mom in the killer's daughter murder trial. Stay with us, Court TV Live. Still with us, attorney Kelly Hyman. Kelly, it almost sounded like blackmail, the way the prosecutor asked those questions and the way she answered, to say, I'll help you with your case against my husband only if you help me find my daughter. Her husband being arrested for multiple murders in February of 1999. Fast forward a month later in March, lo and behold, I think it's coincidence, but they find the severed head of her daughter. And then she says she had to testify against her husband for those other murders. Something just doesn't feel good about the way that came across in terms of the prosecution, for me.
Also, like, first thing I think about is the motive. Like, when you really, like, okay, if you do this, we're gonna do this. And so we go back to your point about whether or not what she knew at that point and what motive did she have at that point in time, right? It's basically, well, if you want this from me, maybe quid pro quo, right?
Yeah.
Then you need to do this for me. Now, is that blackmail? Is that something else? Or is it someone, a concerned mother that had no idea what happened to her daughter and was gonna do whatever she could to find her?
And I almost feel like not blackmail by the mother, I may have said it backwards, more by the prosecution, as they're saying, oh, well, we found the body. Now you have to testify against your father. Maybe blackmail's too wrong of a word, but it just makes me feel like with the prosecution, it's a terrible way to treat a victim, at least who was thought to be a victim at the time, i.e. the mother of the murdered girl, and is now definitively a victim once they found the body. So what else do you think is important to come out of this witness? And do you think they'll get into any allegations of domestic violence by the defendant against Melissa?
Definitely, if they can, in regards to the domestic violence, because as the prosecution said in the beginning, this is a case about domestic violence, and that's what they're hanging their hat on, so to speak. But from your point about the prosecution now, the counter argument to that would be that that's not exactly what the prosecution said at the time, that you're going to have to do this, that you need to do this in order to do this. So that would be the prosecution's counter argument to that, like, no, we didn't say that. We gave them an opportunity that you need to tell the truth.
Right. It's just the way it came out. I feel like the jury may be even more sympathetic to her and feel like she was put in an impossible situation and all she wanted to do was find her daughter. That's just some of my takeaway. All right. Thank you so much, Kelly Hyman, as always, for your great expertise.